Now let us take our discussion further and let's talk about monopsony now. So in case of a monopsony, there is a single buyer of the good. As in the case of monopoly, there was a single seller of the particular good. In case of monopsony, there is a single buyer. So in this recording, we'll talk about how do you find out the equilibrium condition for a monopsony market. So let's have a look at that. So in case of a monopsony, in case of a monopsony, there is only one buyer and several sellers. There is only one buyer and several sellers, right? So for example, let's say I'm the owner of a mine, coal mine, let's say. And there are many small producers of labor. So I'm the only one in the small town. I'm the only one who is giving employment to these small producers, right? So suppose there is a monopsony employer, I mean, who is owning a coal mine, right? And many workers willing to work. So there is a small town. In that small town, if you want to find a work, you have to work in a coal mine only, right? So and people are ready to work at the given wage rate, which I'm just giving it to you, right? So the main point is that in this kind of situation, I will be able to pay lower wages. I'm a monopsony employer, so I'm the only buyer in the market. If you compare it with a situation in which employers have to compete among themselves to attract employees to work for them, if you compare that situation and you compare this situation where I am the only one who is providing you employment, so all of you are working for me, let's say, and or there is another situation in which there are people like me who are competing among themselves so that they will be attracting you towards their work. तो जब हम all of us are going to compete so that you will be working for us, we will be offering you higher wage. But if there is only I'm there in the market and only I can pay you employment, I can also ask you, you want to work at this lower wage or not? You will say yes. What else you will do? So you will have to work at the lower wage. So the main point in the monopsony market is that I will be paying you lower wage. That is the point. Please write. The buyer, who is the employer, will be able to pay less for each labor hour, lower wages, lower wages than that it had to compete against other employers to attract employees as in a perfectly competitive market. So if there is a lot of competition among employers to attract employees to work for them, they will be inclined to pay higher wages only, because when will employees work for you? When you will be incentivizing them. How will you incentivize them? By giving them higher wages. But in case of a monopsony market, I know I do not have to incentivize you. I'm the only one who can give you employment. I'm the only one who is buying your labor services. So I'll be paying you lower wages. That is the point, right? So supposedly, say Q is equal to FL is the production function, right? So output is dependent upon the labor which is being used. How much of labor is being used? That is the production function, right? So, and MPL is greater than 0. If I'm going to employ more labor, I will be able to produce more, right? But it is going to increase at a decreasing rate. Means the increase is going to be lower, right? That is, I'm going to employ more labor. Yes, I will be able to produce more. So it's an increasing function. But it is increasing at a decreasing rate. Means what is F double dash L? That is uh, the derivative of F dash L. Derivative of derivative. Matlab, if I'm going to increase labor, the increase in the output, that is going to fall. Increase the hoga output, but the increase in output is going to fall. That is the point, right? So F double dash L is less than 0. So diminishing marginal productivity of labor. This is marginal productivity positive. This is diminishing marginal productivity of labor. So profits of a coal mine are given by P into Q, revenue, minus wage, which is dependent upon labor, into the amount of labor. So this is my cost. W into L is what my cost is. Now here wages are the function of the labor into labor. That is the point, right? So the point is that I'm going to assume right now that P is given, right? At the price at which I can sell my product, that is given to me, right? So WL is the function of L. Matlab, uh, as firm hires more and more labor, labor becomes more scarce, and hence I will have to pay them more wages, right? Because मान लीजिए, even if I am the person who can employ labor in this market, I'll be using labor. So let's say I have used 100 labor. I want to produce even more. I employ 50 more. I want to produce even more. Now labor will also understand he can't work without us. So they will be demanding more labor. So as the amount of labor I'm going to use that is going to increase, I will also have to pay them higher wages. ये बात तो समझ में आती है बेटा? If I'm going to use more and more labor, the extra labor who is going to come to me, they will be coming only at the higher wage, right? They will also understand that they are becoming scarce. So they will be coming at the higher wage. That is the point. So W dash L is greater than 0, right? So as firm hires more and more labor, as firm hires more and more labor, right? Labor becomes scarce. labor becomes scarce, and higher wage must be offered to attract new workers, So because of that, W dash L is greater than 0, right? W dash L is greater than 0. So because Q is equal to FL, so I can write, in place of Q, I can write FL minus WL into L, right? Minus WL into L. So I want to find out that, I want to find out what should be the employment of labor so that my profits are going to get maximum. That is the idea which I want to find, right? Uh, so choose the number of workers you hire, L, so as to maximize your profits, right? So I'll be differentiating with respect to it. Differentiate with respect to L. So what will you get? First function as it is. That is given to you, F dash FL ka derivative F dash L. P is constant, right? Minus first function as it is into derivative of second function with respect to L is 1 plus second function as it is into derivative of first function with respect to L is W dash A. That is equal to 0. That is equal to 0. So you have what? PF dash L is WL L into W dash L. बेटा ये क्या चीज है? P into MPL. You know this marginal revenue product, right? So P into F dash marginal physical product, right? आप इसको MRPL भी लिख सकते हो और MPPL भी लिख सकते हो. अगर perfectly competitive market है तो कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता, right? So what is P into F dash L? This you will write as MRPL. MRPL, right? इसको इसको पहले डिफाइन करते हैं. MRPL is price into, वैसे तो देखो ये it should be equal to MR, right? यहाँ पे लेकिन it is P into MPL. So after hiring one more unit of worker, hiring one more unit of worker, right? The firm, just say if the firm is going to employ one more unit, how much extra amount of output the firm can produce? F dash L, MPL, right? The firm produces the, or you can say, if you employ one more unit of labor, what is the extra output you're going to produce? That is MPL, F dash L, right? The firm produces F dash L unit. F dash L, more units of output. More units of output, right? So the thing is, अब ये है तो ये क्या, because P into Q that was your total revenue, तो ये तुम्हारे को क्या बता रहा है? यहाँ पे ये चीज क्या बता रहा है कि जो एक्स्ट्रा यूनिट ऑफ लेबर की वजह से जो तुम एक्स्ट्रा आउटपुट प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हो, what is the increase in the revenue because of that? So that is nothing but the marginal revenue product, right? So please write this. Because these additional units additional units are sold at a price P. Are sold at a price P. PF dash L. तो ये क्या बताएगा? What is the value of this marginal product, right? So it is telling you the marginal revenue product of hiring one more unit of labor. मतलब देखो वैल्यू ऑफ मार्जिनल प्रोडक्ट क्यों कह रहा हूँ, बिकॉज इस मार्जिनल जब भी आप किसी चीज को पी से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे सो दैट इज गोइंग टू गिव यू द वैल्यू हियर, राइट? अब यहाँ पे इट इज टेलिंग यू व्हाट इज द चेंज इन द रेवेन्यू बिकॉज ऑफ योर हायरिंग डिसीजन, because of your hiring one more unit of labor. So that is the reason you're writing MRPL, right? PF-L measures the marginal revenue product of hiring one more worker. One more unit of labor. One more worker. One more unit of labor, right? So it is telling you what the additional, uh, because of the additional output which you're being able to produce with one more unit of labor, what is the value of that additional output being sold in the market? That is the point, right? That is, and all of this is happening because you're hiring one more unit of labor, right? Okay, what is your RHS telling you? What is the RHS telling you? That is telling you your marginal expenditure of labor. Marginal expenditure of labor. So let's write about what is the marginal expenditure of labor. Now, because you are hiring, see, LHS is telling you because you're hiring one more unit of labor, it is giving you an increase in the revenue product. It is giving you the increase in the revenue, right? So it is measuring you, it is measuring the marginal revenue product. But because you're hiring one more unit of labor, don't you think you are also experiencing an increase in cost, right? So because of hiring one more unit of labor, what is an extra cost of that? So that is the marginal expenditure of labor. That's what it is. So W into L WL into L, that is W into L measures right uh, the cost of hiring labor, right? Right. So when you are hiring one more unit of labor, so now you just start writing this is WL plus this guy. WL plus L into W dash L. WL plus L into W dash L, right? Uh, so when you are hiring one more unit of labor, so of course that one more unit of labor has to be paid this wage. ये तो है. One more unit of labor, or you can say additional labor, one more unit of labor has to be paid, right? Uh, the wage WL. तो ये तो कॉस्ट है फर्म के लिए, पहली बात ये. दूसरी चीज, the additional labor which you are hiring, he will be attracted to do this job only if you're going to pay him higher wage. He will not be coming at the same wage because he knows that if you want to produce more, you have to give them higher wage, right? The additional worker, अब ये सेकंड टर्म के लिए लिखिए, the additional worker worker will be attracted to the job if the firm offers higher wage. The firm offers higher wage, right? Because he knows that the labor is becoming more and more scarce. He has already hired so much of labor. Now, if he wants to employ more labor, he has to give higher wage, right? But such a wage increase, how much is the wage increase? W dash L. That is the change in wage. And that change in wage is happening because if you want to attract more labor, you have to give them higher wages. But such a wage increase which is W dash L, must be passed to all existing workers. All existing workers, right? Because अब ये तो है नहीं that only you will be paying higher wage to the new workers. But you have to give, because old workers will say we have that much of experience. You are giving us low wage, and that person who has just come one day before, you're giving them higher wage. They will not work. So you have to pass this increase in wage to all of them, right? So which entails cost of W dash L into L, which entails a cost of W dash L into L. So for a monopsony market, this is the equilibrium condition. That is, MRPL is equal to MEL. MRPL equals to MEL. That is marginal revenue product of hiring one more unit of labor. That is equal to the marginal expense of labor. Right? So this is the condition. Right? Chali. Thank you, beta.